The color drained from Margaret's face like someone had pulled a plug. Her hand froze halfway to her purse clasp, and for the first time in 5 years, she had nothing to say. I'm Elena, and I'm a software engineer at a tech company you've definitely heard of. When I met Derek 6 years ago, he was everything I thought I wanted: stable, handsome, came from what seemed like a close-knit family. His mother Margaret was a retired bank manager who prided herself on being traditional and knowing how to properly manage a household. From day one, Margaret made it clear she didn't approve of me. I was too career-focused, too independent, too modern. In my day, she'd say, women knew their place. They didn't need to prove anything by competing with men. Derek would just chuckle and change the subject. After we married, her comments escalated. She'd criticize my spending even though I earned twice what Derek made. She'd make snide remarks about me emasculating her son by out-earning him. The irony was that Derek seemed perfectly happy with our arrangement, or so I thought. Things took a strange turn about a year ago. Margaret started showing up when she knew I'd be shopping. She'd appear at the grocery store, the mall, even at my favorite lunch spots near my office. What a coincidence, she'd say, then proceed to comment on everything I purchased. Organic vegetables. Such a waste. That handbag. Overpriced. Your coffee habit. Financial irresponsibility. I mentioned it to Derek, but he brushed it off. She's just trying to help. She managed a bank for 30 years. She knows about money. Then came the family dinners. Once a month, Margaret would insist we all gather at expensive restaurants. She'd order the most expensive items, insist everyone try multiple appetizers and desserts. Then when the check came, she'd look at me expectantly. Elena's got this, don't you, dear? After all, you make so much money, it must be burning a hole in your pocket. The first few times, I paid to keep the peace. But I started noticing something odd. Margaret would always seat herself next to me, and throughout dinner, she'd find excuses to go through my purse. Do you have any mints? Can I borrow your hand cream? Each time, her fingers would linger near my wallet. 2 months ago, I caught her photographing my credit card. I'd gone to the bathroom and came back early to find her with my wallet open, phone positioned over my Amex. When she saw me, she quickly said she was just admiring the card design. The new metal cards are so fancy. That's when I started putting the pieces together. Derek had been making unusual purchases, expensive electronics, designer clothes, things he'd never bought before. When I questioned him, he said his mom had been giving him money, finally sharing Dad's life insurance. I did some digging. There was no life insurance payout. What there was, however, were charges on my credit cards I hadn't made. Small at first, a coffee here, a lunch there. Then bigger ones, online shopping, spa treatments, eventually a $2,000 handbag purchase. When I confronted Derek, he got defensive. You're accusing my mother of stealing? She would never. You probably forgot you made those purchases. You do shop a lot. I knew then that he was in on it. Maybe not from the beginning, but somewhere along the line, he'd chosen his mother's scheme over our marriage. So I planned tonight carefully. I moved most of our savings into an account only I could access. I cancelled all our joint cards and got new ones in my name only, but I kept the old cards active until tonight. I also did something else. I hired a private investigator to follow Margaret for a week. What he found was shocking. Margaret wasn't some mastermind criminal. She was broke. Her retirement had been decimated by bad investments and a gambling problem she'd hidden for years. She'd been stealing from me to maintain her lifestyle and pay off debts. But more importantly, she'd been doing this to her friends too. 3 other women had filed police reports about mysterious charges after lunching with Margaret. Tonight was supposed to be Derek's promotion dinner. He'd finally made senior analyst, and Margaret insisted we celebrate at La Bonardin. As we sat down, she performed her usual ritual of positioning herself next to me. Halfway through the appetizers, she started her routine. Elena, dear, you look tired. All that work must be exhausting. Maybe you should consider cutting back, being more of a support to Derek now that he's advancing. I'm actually up for a promotion too, I said. Chief Technology Officer. Her smile tightened. How modern. Though I worry what that kind of stress does to a woman. Makes them hard, unfeminine. Derek said nothing, just cutting his fish with surgical precision. That's when she made her move. Oh, Elena, I think you dropped something. She pointed under the table. As I bent to look, I felt her hand slide into my purse. I straightened up just as she extracted my wallet. I'll hold on to these for safekeeping, she smiled, sliding my wallet into her purse. Smart women don't need money. They have husbands to take care of them. Derek actually laughed. Mom knows best. I sipped my wine calmly. Absolutely. That's why I had them all cancelled 3 minutes ago. The silence was deafening. What? Margaret's voice cracked. Every card in that wallet was cancelled at 7:47 p.m. I showed her my phone. See? All done through my banking app. They are just plastic now. Her face went from pale to red. You can't. But here's the interesting part, I continued, pulling out my phone. I've been recording our last several dinners. Every time you've taken my cards, photographed them, used them. My PI has footage of you using my credit card at Nordstrom last Tuesday. The same card you just stole. Derek's fork clattered to his plate. Elena, what are you talking about? Oh, Derek, drop the act. I turned to him. You knew. The charges started appearing right after you'd visit her. The expensive watch you're wearing? Charged to my Visa the day after you had lunch with your mother. The golf clubs. My MasterCard, after your weekend visit. Margaret stood abruptly. This is ridiculous. We're leaving. Sit down, Margaret. The voice came from behind her. A woman in her 50s, elegantly dressed, stepped forward. I'm Detective Sarah Morse, Financial Crimes Division. We've been investigating you for months. Margaret sank into her chair. Detective Morse continued. 3 victims have come forward, Mrs. Henderson. Elena here was smart enough to document everything and bring it to us. The evidence is overwhelming. Derek, Margaret whimpered. Tell them this is a mistake. Derek was staring at me. You knew. All this time. I suspected for months. I knew for certain 2 weeks ago when the PI showed me the footage. I stood, gathering my things. The saddest part isn't the money, Derek. It's that you chose her con over our marriage. I didn't. I wasn't. He stammered. Tuesday, October 3rd, 2:15 p.m., I said. You texted your mother my new Amex number after I got a replacement card. I saw the text thread, Derek. Mom needs this for emergencies only, you wrote. Interesting definition of emergency, designer handbags and restaurant bills. Margaret tried one last manipulation. You're destroying a family. Is that what you want? To be the woman who broke up a mother and son? No, I said, pulling on my coat. I'm the woman who refused to be your personal ATM. And as for your son, he made his choice. As Detective Morse read Margaret her rights, the restaurant tried to maintain some semblance of normal service, but every eye was on us. Derek sat frozen, watching his mother being led away in handcuffs. Elena, wait, he called as I headed for the door. We can fix this. I'll pay you back. I'll get help. I turned back one last time. With what money, Derek? Your mother's broke. You've been living off my income for years. And fixing this. That would require you to admit you chose to betray me. You're not there yet. You might never be. Outside, the November air was sharp and clean. I pulled out my phone and did 3 things. I called my lawyer to file for divorce, I called a locksmith to change the locks on my condo, and I called my best friend to tell her I was finally free. The money Margaret and Derek stole came to about $47,000 over 2 years. My lawyer says I'll recover most of it through the divorce and criminal proceedings. But honestly, I'd pay twice that to have learned this lesson. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Margaret's going to prison. Derek's moving back into her empty house, trying to figure out how to pay for a lifestyle he never actually earned. And me. I got that CTO promotion. Turns out, smart women do need money. They just don't need toxic families trying to steal it. The last I heard from Derek was a text saying his mother wants to apologize, that she's found religion in jail. I deleted it without responding. Some bridges, once burned, light the way forward. My new credit cards. They are titanium, they have my name only, and they are protected by biometric authentication. Because I learned something important. The best safekeeping for your financial future is keeping it safe from people who think they are entitled to it.